Yep, there it is.
Yep, it's going down. Death Dread took a lot of damage. But overall, not that, other than heavily damaging the Death Dread, wasn't that that much of a detriment to the orcs. But
I mean, like Sluggers charged right through it and didn't take like hardly any damage.
Well, at this point, I think the orcs have lost this. I mean, look at the Tyranid army: 2 warrior squads, Gaunt, and a Termagant squad.
Making like a final charge here.
Yeah, here we go. Last charge. Attack! Storm boys jumping into the midst of it.
And they just die.
Too much fire. Wow. Home bugs got disrupted, but it's just not enough orcs to make the difference. Yeah, Rico knows he's lost this. Death Dread down. And now he's going tier 3. He should have been at tier 3 like several minutes ago. Like even farther than that.
Disappointing.
And that's game. So what should he have done different? First off, he shouldn't have lost all of his shooter squads. You need to keep a tighter rein on that. Keep an eye on them. And second of all, good lord, man. I know Storm Boys are fun to use, but you notice he always, Calza4i always had some sort of shooting unit supporting his melee horde.
Yeah.
Because Calza4i took out all of the supporting units for those Storm Boys and what have you. You know, he had no supporting units to, you know, shoot down the enemy melee mob and so on and so forth. It was so basically up against, you know, getting shot up, that just completely negates Ard Boys and user choppas. So unless, you know, I mean, you saw Rico constantly trying to nail down the NID supports, but definitely Calza4i was a lot more attentive and kept those squads alive, which in the long run helped him out immensely.
Yeah, those tunnels just made some great escapes.
Indeed, good use of tunnels. Definitely what the Raven Alpha does best. And good lord, so many dead Storm Boys stuck inside the terrain.
Just flattened. I mean, you look at his base, there's like 3 of them by his base. Or 4, never mind.
Yeah, 2 Tyrannoforms, though the Tyrannoforms definitely could have been better. But, you know, they performed their job. It was just getting rid of the red. You know, he was getting so much. And Rico was just going through red like crazy, using up Ard Boys and user choppas. Which, unfortunately, doing it that way means you're not going to be using rocks. Which, you know, considering that he didn't have the numbers advantage, probably would have been a good idea to save up for that. But, you know. Yeah, there wasn't much you can do. I mean, the more battles you lose and the more squads you keep losing, the harder it is it's going to be to come back from it. So bottom line, orcs need a better unit preservation, and you know, just pay attention to your squads, man. And also,
yep, I mean,
and also know when to move on in a tier. I mean, you stayed way too long in tier 2. When it was it's like you only stay in a tier when you know you've got a power advantage, you know, and you're constantly keeping his power down. That's normally when I stay in a tier. If I can't harass the enemy's power, that's usually a good indication that I can expect him to tech up pretty soon. So, yeah, definitely needed more power harassment, and Calza4i was definitely a lot more successful at his harassment.
He was doing that, like, hella early on, like decapping, and
Oh, it
Rico
gave,
didn't do that till like the last couple minutes.
yeah, it gave him a tremendous tech advantage, and Kazufurai used every bit of that advantage as much as he could, and just constantly inflicting losses on the orcs, constantly forcing him to use up wreck to reinforce, you know. And even with the power, like later on in the game, the orcs just used up so much wreck that they can't even utilize. That he's not even bothering to utilize that power because he just doesn't have the wreck for it. So, really, those squads in the end, those Stoneboy squads and other things, they just ended up being a wreck sink because they were constantly constantly not inflicting enough damage to warrant the amount of casualties they were sustaining. So just slippery slope.
Mm-hmm. It is nice seeing a Tyranid victory here.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen one of those. Anyway, this has been HellFox and Orange Kid from Team OSC, signing out.
Goodbye.